It's time for the LowcoSports Lowdown. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Arraj.
Hey, LowcoSports fans. Hey, boys. It's the crew together again Monday night. Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, Max Arraj on the LowcoSports Lowdown. Again, we're still in the slower period of time as far as LowcoSports goes, but definitely the calm before the storm. And if you're looking, there's some stuff going on. Max and I spent a lot of time over at the Ace Basin Recreation Complex the last few days, watching the 6 and under regional World Series. It's a regional version of a World Series that is a regional tournament in itself. So it's like half of the Dixie World Series, the former the the landmass formerly known as the Dixie Youth Baseball playing states. I guess we'll call it that. It's a regional version of that. We had Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Tennessee represented. Tennessee very well represented with 3 teams, all of whom acquitted themselves quite well. And 2 of them were still playing today among the final 4 on the last day. And one of them took home the championship. Pleasant View, Tennessee, winning the title. And 2 Donnybrooks with Greg Park out of up in the Spartanburg area in South Carolina, where they carried the flag for South Carolina and really did a good job. I mean, they did an excellent job of keeping themselves in the game. They won that first game this morning. Well, first they had to beat Florida, which was a problem as well. They had to beat them this morning, and then they came back and beat Pleasant View to force that final game. So one more game on the hottest field in South Carolina, Cherokee Field at Ace Basin. It's like Death Valley down in that bowl.
Oh, geez,
but we've seen some great baseball games there over the last few weeks, and it's been fun. That's the field. That was my special field too. So a lot of good baseball has been played on that field over the years.
Pretty cool complex over there.
Yeah, it's great, man. And our friends from the Supper Optimists, I think that was everybody's favorite team as far as that. I don't know if they got the sportsmanship award, but they got my vote. They were great. They were out of Wilmington, North Carolina, the Supper Optimists, the only 6 and under team playing DYB rookie ball in North Carolina. So they got a free pass. They didn't have a regional. They didn't have a state tournament. That did not benefit them because they had not played anything that looked like what they were playing this weekend. It was a high level. The Pleasant View team, some of those kids have been playing together for like 2.5 years, they said, and they're only 6. So, they were very well trained and well honed young baseball players. It was impressive. We got some dudes we're going to keep an eye on over the years. We'll get into that a little bit later when we run out of other things to talk about. You and I can we can throw out some names of 6-year-old dudes to keep an eye on. As silly as that sounds, like somebody from this tournament's going to go on and be like something, I mean,
special.
The chances are likely that at least somebody's going to find their way to. I mean, you never know. We've seen several in the past make it to major leagues around here, but even just like to be able to start the high school ranks, like the odds are pretty high that you're gonna have somebody we're gonna be talking about in a handful of years or so playing high school baseball.
I mean, there are a few kids that I was like, if these kids keep playing, they're gonna go places because they were just. Yeah. It's not that they were just physically talented; they knew how to play the game at that age.
And knew what was going on.
Yeah, they knew what to do. They knew what their role was. They knew how to play the game the right way. And so I think there are some of those kids. I mean, all those kids are being taught how to play baseball the proper way. And I'm glad to see some of those players really exceed. And so, yeah, I mean, the last 2 teams standing were honestly the 2 best teams. I mean, we can all agree on that. And I'm sure the people who may be watching this podcast and was at the 6U rookie tournament, maybe who knows? I think we can all agree those were the 2 best teams, and it really showed those last 2 games because those were probably 2 of the closest and most hard fought games I saw that entire tournament, and they were 100% to Donniebrooks, 100%, and it was really great.
Yeah, both games were exceptional. The matches went so fast, or the games went so fast.
Did. They really did.
They were, yes, of course we are. Are we coming out to Burton Wells this weekend? Yeah, I will be out of town through Saturday, but then intend to get out and see as much as I can after that.
Yeah,
and I believe you boys will be doing a little broadcasting, yeah?
Yeah, me and Wes will be broadcasting, and we'll be announcing games at Burton Wells for the entire tournament. So if you guys see us there, give us a shout out, man. We'll be there.
I'll be there over the weekend. Looking forward to seeing the cream of the crop in terms of 14U baseball time. I mean, these are guys like who are about ready to burst on the scene of their college or their high school teams, and then hopefully a good opportunity to play in college. But it's gonna be a lot of fun, and just hope the weather cooperates over the weekend. You'll be able to see some great baseball.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, those 3 teams from Tennessee in this tournament were just so dangerously good, and it was so much fun to watch all 3 teams play. I mean, me and Justin discussed Crane Breyer's coaching staff was at times a bit hard to handle, but like all 3 teams from Tennessee were absolutely amazing. And I think there's a story behind that in terms of the state tournament, basically.
Yeah, I tried to kind of piece it together, but my understanding was that that they all beat each other at state. Like they each had 1 loss, and like it came down to, and there were like rainouts or something, and it came down to like they would have to stay another day to finish it, and they all agreed to just end it because they were getting 3 bids to this thing. Like I don't know. There was something there. They were all very evenly matched, and
absolutely. I mean,
even Pleasant View had a battle to knock Chester County out today. Greenbrier lost, I think, 2 1-run games to Greg Park, which ended up, in the final game. So the top, I would say 5 teams were all pretty evenly matched and all really solid. And then there were a couple teams that were kind of in the middle tier, and then there were some that were really overmatched. The Colleton All-Stars, they just played T-ball in their rec league, so they hadn't even seen anything that looked remotely like this. And then the North Carolina team was definitely out of their depth as far as like the rules change, right? Like it's not the same rules that you play in your rec season at 6 and under. It's a little more advanced version.
Yeah, it's a little different. But I feel bad for Suburb Optimist because they are the only, basically they're the only rookie league in the entire state of North Carolina, which I'm actually profoundly surprised at that because, as big of a state as that is, you would expect some rookie league teams maybe in the Charlotte area perhaps, but I found it very surprising. I feel bad for them because basically they didn't have a state tournament. They were the only team coming out of North Carolina, which was it's hard going into a tournament.
They were shell shocked. They were
But
shell shocked their first game, and then they came back and played pretty tough the rest of the way.
Well, I think the other team that everyone was kind of talking about and shocked everyone that they didn't even get a win in the tournament was Lancaster, South Carolina. I think everybody was wondering what happened to this team who ran through the state tournament pretty well after losing their first game in the state tournament. And then, they come into this tournament and finish out the tournament 0-4. And it was a bit disappointing, but I'm glad how the tournament went. It was really fun. It brought back a lot of memories for me in my days of playing at that age. So I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and especially those last 2 games. It was really fun. And the best part is the fan bases, the parents and everything. They are so much fun to listen to.
They're intense.
Me and you were laughing our butts off at at the fans and stuff.
Well, we do. I do have a new favorite chant. It goes like this. It goes, what is it? Swing level, run like the devil.
They were chanting all at the Dixie.
Swing level, run like the devil.
They were doing that all.
It's the hoo-hoo-ha that I really enjoy. I get a good kick out of it. So while you boys are out in Beaufort, look out on the field out there with our friends, the umpires. Mark Renix, friend of the show, will be umpiring Friday through Sunday, and he likes the new hat and shirt. We're gonna have to drop the link in the comments to make sure that he can get his new Lowco gear. He is known to rock a One Lowco shirt or a Lowco Strong shirt under his umpiring attire. So we'll have to get him some new gear.
Gotta represent.
Here we go. We're getting the Lowco link out there early in the show this time for Renix. So we're directly soliciting his order. See what happens when you comment. You get direct solicitation. But no, it was a lot of fun, and definitely looking forward to the tournament this weekend in Beaufort. I don't know. It's always hard to say how competitive the host team is going to be. It was really, really rough.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, the way those Tennessee teams showed up in this rookie tournament.
Oh, Renix already got his new hat and shirt. That's what he said. All right, my man. He's always
support, man. Support. Got to represent.
I love it.
I mean, what I saw of those Tennessee teams this past weekend and these last few days, I really hope to see some more of that, like, strong effort from whatever Tennessee teams are coming into this tournament.
Everybody will be – all the state champions will be legit. Like, nobody will be –
they're all going to be legit. They are all going to be legit because they all have had playing time in state tournaments as well as, district tournaments as well. So, I expect it to be a really good tournament, and I cannot wait. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some competitive games. I'm sure we will at this level.
Oh, for sure.
Because all these teams are very evenly matched. To get to this point, you have to be a solid squad, and most of them are. So I'm just looking forward to seeing some competitive matchups, and hopefully we can get through this tournament without too many of the weather eruptions, because that's always the thing you worry about this time of year in the summer is you got a lot of pop-up showers and storms. And so
I mean, we had that problem on Saturday with some of the games, Saturday evening being moved to Sunday morning over in Walterboro, but that's just part of the game. Sometimes it happens. So I hope that we can. Weather's going to always be a factor no matter what sport it is. But it's always going to be a part of it.
Not all sports, not basketball.
Well, not all sports, but most outdoor sports.
Very, very serious weather, like snowstorms.
Yeah,
you won't see basketball.
Yeah, I mean, here's the reality with the Diamond Youth. You never know. With the Diamond Youth and Dixie Boys tournaments, they make a choice that they're gonna spread it over as many days as they can spread it over and get away with it because they want the gate and they want the hotels. And
that's for sure.
When you decide that you're gonna spread it over a number of days and only use a part of those days to play games, you run the risk that part of that day is gonna be the rainy part of the day, and you're just going to have to pivot. But they usually have some time built into each day where they can catch up when they need to. Like it requires getting some volunteers there early and that kind of stuff. But that's the one good thing to be said for how spread out it is you do have a little bit of wiggle room within the day that you can add a couple games here and a couple games there and get back on track. Like, I mean, they lost all of the first round of bracket games. They're supposed to play a bunch of games Saturday night, and they all got wiped out, but they caught it all up on Sunday. They got it all caught up. Now it's easier with the little kids because they don't have to pitch. So you don't have to worry about
that. Doesn't make much of an impact, especially but at the older levels, especially the 14U. Now, this is when it gets more complicated because if you have a guy that's working on the mound and now all of a sudden you have to. When
you compact it, it changes. You have to have a lot more depth.
Giving up very carefully when you have a bunch of guys.
And honestly, the bigger issue you run into at the older ages is you run out of catchers. Just because you just can't hardly ask kids to catch more than one in a day. It's asking a lot. And so if you got to play like 3 or 4 in a day, man, it gets long fast because a lot of your catchers are also your pitchers, and so you run into a whole a whole issue there.
issue.
But well, that's probably about enough baseball for now. Kind of went off the rails, but let's shout out some sponsors and then we'll get back on track. Kind of just rejiggered things a little bit, but the MVP sponsors of LowcoSports starts with my wife, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports. You can find her with Keller Williams of the Low Country. She'll love to help you find your place in the Lowco or upgrade to a bigger, better place in the Lowco. Or you can take the official realtor of LowcoSports off her hands for the right price, she says. So just let us know what you want to do. Wes going to get his charger. Max peacing out. I'm on my own for these ad reads. Homegrown Home Inspections, the official home inspector of LowcoSports. Jan Lucas and his team are the best in the biz when it comes to home inspections. And if you're building a new home, you got to have that phased inspection where they'll check on it every step of the way and make sure that it's built right with homegrown home inspections. Hospice Care, the Low Country, official hospice provider of LowcoSports, only not-for-profit hospice in southern Beaufort County, providing palliative care, hospice care, free grief counseling, and much more. And Hospice Care, the Low Country, where it's not about dying, it's about living. And Mickelson Law Firm, our original sponsor and the official real estate closing attorney of LowcoSports, also the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. Mickelson Law Firm, been with us since the beginning. Call on them for all your legal needs. The official real estate closing attorney of LowcoSports. Welcome back, Wes. Welcome back, Max. Those are our MVP sponsors. And we are just talking sports in the Lowco here, but I'm going to shift gears and talk a little wrestling with you guys because we mentioned last week that Zayo got her national title at Fargo, which is tremendous news, and that she also committed to William Penn, which is also very cool. But I did want to share some stats to kind of put stats and accomplishments to put Zayo's high school career into a little bit of perspective, because we saw what she did at the high school level early in her high school career, but then she stepped away from the high school arena and focused more on wrestling, the wrestling world, so to speak. And so when we left her, she had won the South Carolina Girls State Championship the first year they had one, and placed third in the boys. Was the first girl to medal in the boys division in South Carolina. And then in 2022, we also saw her win the girls title and place fourth in the boys. And then she didn't wrestle for the high school again. But since then, 2023 Southeast Region champ in freestyle and Greco, the 2023 Rock Hill Bearcat Invitational champ and most outstanding wrestler. She won another, 23? She did wrestle with the boys? Did she? I guess so. She got fourth again. Yeah, she did. She did. It was just this year she didn't. She placed fourth and won another. She won Lower State, though, in the boys that year. She did not wrestle the girls. That's what it was her junior year. And then in 23, she was second at Junior Nationals. She was third at Super 32. This year, she's been Junior Nationals duals all tournament team, Southern Plains Junior Regionals champ. Second at the National High School Recruiting Showcase, second at the U20 National World Team Trials, and Junior Fargo National Champion. So just an incredible career from Zayo. And I also have a video, if I can find it, that is amazing.
Never seen anyone like her in the Lowco, I think, ever. When you talk about the accomplishments, the accolades, and the numbers, and
one of one.
She is a unicorn in terms of what she has done and what she has accomplished.
All right, here we go. I've got this this video for you now. It's pretty great.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, that's way too loud. All right, we're gonna mute it because it's super loud or muted.
Wow.
Look at Zayo. Oh, beast.
Oh man,
got her.
Makes it look easy.
There she is. She's an animal. I love the pre-match fights. That's Zayo.
See, that's what gets you.
She's an animal.
That's what gets you going.
Yeah. God, Strada doesn't play around. You ain't kidding.
Yeah.
She's something else. She's been working at her craft for a long time. Followed her sister as a Jersey, was also a national champ at Fargo, and there's a little sister who hopes to make it 3. So pretty cool stuff. Couple other kids, Layla Hustlis, who used to train at Reverence, but I think has since moved to Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken. She plays 4th at Fargo, so that was cool to see. And then Stefano Calderon placed 8th at this the 16U, what's it called? The Marine Corps Junior Nationals. So fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff from our local wrestlers. Soon enough, it'll be wrestling season. Not that far away. I'm already thinking about it. I'm already thinking about it. I mean, it's our next big season in my house. We got fall baseball, and that's a thing. But like, we're getting ready for wrestling season. We're fired up.
And get ready for fall sports, and all before you know it, it's which sports coming along, and we got wrestling to talk about, and it just keeps getting better and better every year. And we see it we do the Lowco grind, and I think that's only to get better. But just the wrestling talent in this area, we keep hyping up these next future stars, and a lot of the younger kids are stepping up, and the girls wrestling has really become a thing of its own now, and it's a really good time to be a wrestling however we call it fan here in the local country.
Well, I reserve wrestling for the stuff on TV.
Okay,
wrestling for
the proper wrestling here in the high school ranks in the Low Country.
I know that Houston Rudisell and Joshua Echeverria from May River were also out at Fargo. They both went 2-2, made it to day 2, but did not place. So something to strive for next year. 1,700 wrestlers in the event per Ashley Powell.
Wow.
Speaking of which, I'm excited for the Shark Invitational. That's always a fun event to see.
Yeah, it's legit. They've always got people from all over the Southeast, and you usually bring in some from Pennsylvania, and I believe some Michigan schools are coming next year. I think Schmidt's been working the phones for Michigan.
That course for the Invitational.
You're talking about the golf. We were talking about the wrestling.
Talking about wrestling? Oh, sorry.
But the golf is going to be really good too.
The golf one, as well as the cross country invitational too.
Where are they running the cross country?
I think I know
the
where
Sand Shark. You mean the Sand Shark Invitational?
Yeah.
Cross country.
Oh, okay.
They run that. They run that out on the course they always do out at Sergeant Jasper and on the Hubbard property across the street from the Cooler property.
Sorry, I must have misheard y'all. I don't know if my audio's not working properly or something. I must have misheard y'all. I thought I heard Sand Shark, but I could be wrong.
Shark Invitational. He was talking about the wrestling tournament in May River, but it's all good. Okay. We have a lot of sharks and Eagles and Dolphins around here. It gets a little confusing at times.
That's true.
Also, back to the baseball front, we're back to baseball. It's baseball season. What are you going to do? Carmen Majinski, after we wrapped the show the other night, it was the poop series, Phillies and Pirates. And so starting at the start of the game, it always says poop on the score bug, which always makes me laugh. It's great. They took poop into the 7th the other night before the Pirates got on the board. But no, we wrapped the show, and then you texted us, Wes. Majinski got the win. Buccos walked it off.
Nice. Yeah, very nice.
I saw the end of that game, and man, I'm really impressed by the mettle of Carmen Majinski because it was looking like it was going to fall apart in that 9th inning, but with a couple runners on base, staying steady and getting the job done. And my God, that kid has that veteran mentality out there on the mound, and it's really, really exciting to see one of our own not just compete in major leagues, but have the success and just have the consistency that we've seen in order to deliver for a squad that is on the up and coming in Major League Baseball right now, and certainly against the Philadelphia lineup, but it's always dangerous Majinski able to pick up a huge K of Brandon Marsh to pick up the last out of that ninth inning, and it was kind of getting a little congested on the base paths. A couple of, although I will say there were some unlucky breaks there because both of the hits to Castellanos and Sosa were bouncers up the middle, and if it was hit maybe to the little left, a little to the right, would have been an easy ground out, but just put it in the wrong place in terms of for Majinski and his infield defense. But he was able to bounce back, get a pop up, and then end up finding a way to get out of the inning. And then Pirates ended up walking it off on the Gonzalez single to left. And man, that's a gutsy win for Pittsburgh. Fun team to watch, and obviously Paul Skeens has really stolen the show. But a couple of guys have picked it up with the bats, and it's been a fun young group that could do some damage if they get in. So and just great to see for Carm because
that Pittsburgh team, I'm really hoping they make it to the playoffs, at least to the wild cards. I would love to see playoff ball in Pittsburgh again because it's always fun to watch it on TV. And I agree with you. I agree with you, Wes. I really, really like the way this team plays, and they are really fun and exciting. So there are a couple teams that I'm looking at right now outside of my Braves that I'm like, wow, I really like watching these teams play. And it's the Baltimore Orioles and the Pittsburgh Pirates.
The Orioles are a lot. Well, Atlanta is just snake bitten.
They're crumbling right now.
Yep. Dude, yesterday, 2 players ended up on the IL. Freaking Ozzy Albies is out for 8 weeks. And then Max Fried went to the IL earlier that morning with like a forearm problem. So I'm so at this point, I'm just like, if we make it to the wild card, we're not going anywhere. So I can't. I don't know. I'm mad, but I'm also like, look, I understand it's injuries. There's nothing you can do about it. So
that happens. It's part of the game. But look, big picture is when you have the guys locked up long term that you do. You just hope that obviously Acuna is the one you're really worried about because it hasn't been the first time he's suffered a major injury. So just hope that it's not going to be a damaging path for him because it always makes you nervous when a guy has multiple major setbacks.
Yeah,
especially a guy with a talent like him.
I know Acuna's. It was frustrating for him because I think he was just because he was struggling early on in the season. He was struggling just a bit compared to what he was at that point last season. And he was struggling, and I could tell he was just starting to turn the corner. He was starting to get those hits, starting to get on base more often, and then he ended up with an ACL injury again. And it's frustrating, but that's just part of the game, unfortunately. But I will say, out of all the frustrations for the Braves this year, I really am loving Chris Sale. Oh my God!
Yeah.
I'm glad we picked that dude up, man. I'm so happy we picked that dude up. He's been on a tear this year.
I'm not too disappointed about as a Red Sox fan because they did win us a world championship, had a great career in Boston, then got hurt. But it just makes you think after the last 2
years. I didn't know what to think when we picked up Sale. I was like, is he on the last leg of his career, or is he still got a lot of has he still got some juice left in him? And he's got juice left in him, man. He's still hurling that baseball, and it's really I enjoy watching him and Renato Lopez.
He hasn't even chopped up any jerseys yet.
Yeah, and maybe they can have some nachos soon with the up of Nacho Alvarez.
Yes,
Nacho Alvarez.
In the infield. That's an A+ baseball name, Nacho Alvarez.
A+, 100%. Yeah, that's a great one. Majinski
his real name is Ignacio.
By the way. Yeah, but you gotta call him Nacho. That's like Ignacio to Nacho is like the easiest nickname ever. You gotta. It's like if you got a guy named Mario, you're gonna call him Super Mario. Like, I mean, that's an easy one. Majinski, by the way, 2-3 with a 3.26 ERA in 22 games this season. Including 3 starts, I guess all his openers, right? 30 and a third, 1.19 whip, 27 Ks. Solid.
It's a solid. Yeah, solid.
He's been really
he had to
good.
battle injury.
More recently, last
So-
15 games, he's 1.31 ERA, 0.92 WHIP. So he's been lights out the last few weeks. So
yeah, I mean,
He's
hey,
been the trusted leading guy.
3.26 ERA is nothing to be mad about. That's still a real solid.
No, it's up
solid
from
team.
last year, and it's a little high
Yeah.
for a reliever, but I mean higher than ideal. But again,
He's
when you're a
coming back
reliever,
from
dude,
injury,
like
I mean.
you have one bad outing and it balloons up early, and then it
Inflates it,
takes a while to get it back
Yeah.
down. But now he's doing fine, man. He's making his way. And those City Connects are so nice, by the way. Just
I
simple.
do like him.
The yellow and black,
really do
such a
like
good look, and there's the big PGH.
There's some
Pittsburgh gets a lot right for a franchise that has like really gotten it wrong for a long time now. They've gotten a lot right. That ballpark's great. Their uniforms are among the best.
that ballpark may be one of the best views in baseball. To be
so
honest,
beautiful.
that might be one of the best views in baseball.
Yeah,
And I so
awesome.
want to go watch a game there one day.
Cubs are trying to help the Pirates right now, up 2-0 on the Brewers.
Yeah,
Trying to play a little spoiler. The Cubs are saying they're going to sell, but nobody wants to buy anything they got. Like they got a couple of relievers that are people like, yeah, maybe, and then they're like, we got Cody Bellinger, and they're like, yeah, he's hurt, and yeah, but he's Cody Bellinger, and
yeah, but he's
like,
still
yeah,
played
we're good
terrible during the regular season.
We're good. So nobody wants our cast-offs this year.
The Sox are really they were hot heading to the break, and they swept by the hands of the Dodgers. By the way, I wanted to bring it up, but did you see that mammoth Shohei Ohtani home run last night?
Yes. Oh my
Nearly
Lord.
left Dodger Stadium.
Smoke. I don't think I've ever seen a ball hit that hard on that part of the stadium, that side of the stadium. I don't know if I've ever seen a ball in my time hit that hard and that far on.
Nearly left the
only other home run I've seen that's been hit just as hard and as far as that one is back in the day when Giancarlo Stanton was playing for the Miami Marlins. You can find it on YouTube. It's real easy. It'll show up instantly. We absolutely smoked one completely out of the ballpark. Back when he was just hitting absolute nukes.
I was in attendance on May 11th of whatever year that was. I don't know.
I can't remember the year.
01, something like that. When Glenn Allen Hill, maybe 2000 actually, when Glenn Allen Hill hit one on top of the rooftops across the street.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
It was unreal.
I've seen that one. But I mean, that Ohtani home run just absolutely blew my mind. I was just like, good Lord, that just kept going.
Yeah.
It just
what was it? What'd they say it was like 490 or 4 something? It was big. It was real big.
I mean, it almost cleared the roof. Like the V-shaped roof that they have at Dodger Stadium. It just went under that. And that's absolute moonshot. You don't see. And they interviewed Clayton Kershaw, who has been there forever.
So the distance on that home run was 473 feet.
That's what I thought I remembered hearing today. That's 473.
But they talked to Clayton, the ESPN talked to Clayton Kershaw right after it happened. He said he's never seen anything like that. I mean, he's been a Dodger forever. He's seen it all in that ballpark.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I mean, there really is no one. There's no one in baseball like Shohei Ohtani. There's just no one like him, and he's
Did
just.
They get Vin Scully on the record on that? He's seen a few. He saw a few more than Clayton has, but Clayton's seen his. Yeah, man, he was the greatest, just the greatest. I love to listen to that man's voice. Listen to Dodger baseball on the radio.
Rest in peace, Ben.
Yeah,
Scully, man. God, I miss him.
Absolute legend. When he called Kirk Gibson's home run, that one just.
He's had some memorable ones.
Yeah, that one stands out. That was one of the moments where you're like, you remember. Well, you guys don't because you weren't born, but surely you've seen Kirk Gibson come off the bench hit the pinch hit homer and limp around the bases. Like, yeah.
Hey, but
Scully.
it was cool to
That one
see one of my
legendary.
favorite guys from my childhood, Joe Castiglione, earn his induction to the Hall of Fame this past
There you
weekend.
go.
Yeah.
Joe
Red Sox.
Mauer went
That was a
in.
good one.
Adrian Beltre.
Win.
Got some good
This
honorees.
is actually, and I guess it puts into perspective. I believe this is one of the first. This is obviously the first year that they have the Hall of Fame without Willie Mays there, which is really sad. I can't remember how many years it's been since the last time they had one without him, but it's been quite a long time. This is the first time in a really long time that they had that Willie Mays was obviously not there, and it's very sad. But just keep his legacy going, I guess, is the main thing. And I was really sad because obviously I never got to watch him play, but he was someone I watched film on when I was playing baseball because I wanted to learn how he played the game. And so I could find any film I could of him on YouTube and just watch how he played baseball because that was the guy to watch when it came to hitting, when it came to fielding as well. I mean, there was just no one like Willie Mays.
No, he was definitely the best. Like, I mean, I don't know if I can say definitely the best, but I think there's kind of a consensus that he was the best all-around baseball player, like
Yes.
5-tool player.
100%.
A lot of people will probably say, well, if Mantle had stayed healthy, if
But he
Mantle had been healthy, and maybe, but he didn't exactly, and Mays, was able to do it over a longer period, and Mays was a more likable personality than Mickey Mantle, and that it matters because how people remember you. There's a lot that goes into that, and it's not just what happens on the field. And I mean, I've told you guys before, but like I grew up near where Mickey Mantle grew up, and Mickey Mantle came back and lived near that area later, and Mickey Mantle did not have a great reputation for being the nicest fellow in town. Let's just put it that way. He did not make a lot of friends when people came around. So, Willie Mays, he had a lot of friends. He was a great face for baseball and a great ambassador. Much like Hank Aaron, to just really kind of like stoic guys who went about their business and were great ambassadors for the game, and came through together and did amazing things. But love the game of baseball. Really enjoyed watching these little dudes this week. I'm going to tell you a couple South Carolina dudes to watch out for. First of all, we got the first baseman, Red. Gosh dang
Big
it,
Daddy.
I don't have his first name in front of me, but his name's Big Daddy. Asked him if they call him Big Red. He said, no, they call me Big Daddy. And, if the shoe fits, Big Daddy was picking it at first. Now, this dude picked a couple that were nasty, and he'd pick it and show it to the umpire like a pro, and the dude could swing it. I mean, I was impressed with Big Daddy, right, Max?
Oh, yeah. He is, I think, in terms of like his mind on the game of baseball and like his baseball intellect, I think he's at least 2-3 years ahead of some of these players when it comes to baseball IQ. And it really shows. And that kid is built for first base. It shows. Like the kid knows how to. I mean, it shows. On some of those bounce throws that he had, he picked them clean up. He picked them up clean, and it really showed like how good he is. And then on the hitting side of things,
pretty much everyone. Sullivan Red is his name, by the way.
Yeah, that kid is. I really do think that kid is going to go places in terms of his baseball skills because it just really showed in this tournament, and I really hope he obviously continues playing because I know he enjoys it and I know he's really passionate about it. And you could tell on his face whenever there was a play that he didn't make, he was mad as could be, and it was funny to watch, and it showed just like how much passion some of these kids had, and I think he was one of the most passionate players I saw on the field during the tournament.
No doubt. That was the biggest standout for me from that Greg Park team. They definitely had some other dudes that were very strong. Top of the order. Oh, well, the other one I guess would be Micah Bradley, the shortstop on that
Greg
team. We were
Park,
both pretty wowed by Micah. He was
That kid can
super
run, man.
fast.
That kid can
Super
run.
fast. And he made a play up the middle, diving up the middle behind the bag at second, and got a force at second that was stupid good. And then the little second baseman too. What was his last name? Sullivan?
I think
Bryant
so.
Bryant Sullivan, I think
so.
it was an S name.
Yeah.
He was really solid as well. For me, he was the best second baseman in the tournament, I think.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, he was really, really strong. The Tennessee third baseman,
Oh my.
Lincoln,
Lincoln, man.
Lincoln Carter. That dude,
That dude was solid. That dude is
like, it was a black hole at third base, and at that age, you hit it to third base, it's supposed to be a hit most of
But
the
the other
time.
thing was, every time he threw from third to first, it'd get there at
He
the
threw
same
him out
exact
every
spot
time. He threw him
Every
out
time.
like never. He threw
I've
one off the mark that I saw
Yeah.
all weekend. It was
Yeah,
unbelievable how
I
consistent
have
he was.
never seen a kid at the 6 and under level be able to be that accurate from third to first, because that is by far, in terms of the infield, that is by far the hardest throw from third to
Yeah,
first.
I mean, even
Easy for
you've watched a lot of it, Wes. Like even for 8U, 10U,
Oh,
they're still playing on the same bases, and
you
it's not a
rarely ever
gimmick.
see guys throw someone out from the third base side of the 6U or 8U tournament. It's
No.
normally
Because I was
Well, it was
never-
routine for him. He was throwing everybody out. It was impressive.
Yeah, it was really impressive.
The third baseman who can make those throws in a 8U or 6U game. That's everything.
He was an animal.
Wow.
Their little pitcher Carson Sims was also an animal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
their
he was
shortstop
very good.
Avery, I'm not sure what Avery Mitchell, maybe Avery M. He was real good. And then their catcher, my man
Yeah.
DeMarcus.
Yes.
DeMarcus was an animal behind the plate. He got several outs on foul pops and got close to a bunch of other ones that were like tough plays. And he was one of the few catchers who, when there was going to be a play at the plate, he was covering home. He knew what was going to happen, and he was down for it. He was ready. Most of them didn't know what was going on or didn't want no part of it. One of the other.
Yeah, I mean,
But he did.
I feel like that's the thing with 6U and maybe possibly even 8U at times. Is usually the catcher is kind of the player who just isn't really the strongest in terms of his baseball skills. You just have him there to see if he can ground some bounce balls that come in front of him whenever it's a coach pitching. But this kid, he wanted to be in that position. Like, you could tell he really wanted to be there. And whenever there was like a pop fly, he was throwing his helmet off of his head onto the ground and trying to look for that baseball. And it was really something to watch. And I was like, if this kid keeps being this enthusiastic about this position, I really think he could be really good at it, because it really did show.
He was fun to watch. He was really fun to watch because he was into the, like you said, sometimes you kind of, at that age, you kind of not hide somebody, but it's like you put somebody there who that's where they add the most value, and that was not at all the case with him. Like, he looked like he wanted to be a catcher. Much like Big Daddy at first base. He looked like a first baseman, like not just a kid playing first base. He looked like a first baseman.
He looked like a first baseman.
And this kid looked like a catcher, DeMarcus. But no, it was really cool. Overall the atmosphere, the the crowds were great as far as the attitudes go and everything. There are a couple heated moments. It's going to happen, especially when the scoreboard doesn't agree with what somebody thinks it is or whatever. That gets a little dicey at times, but it was all good. But I do have a photo of DeMarcus making one of his catches that I just found.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Hold one up. Here we go. Good old DeMarcus. There he is. like a champ.
Yeah,
You can see,
nice.
you can see he's covered a little bit of ground here. He's over toward the dugout, home plate.
Hey man,
you
he's
know.
all that matters is he's using two hands, man.
He's
That's
in
all that
perfect
matters.
form, using two hands. I mean, he's just money in the bank. Love that dude.
Yeah, man.
That's my man.
Actually, I have a
We
video.
also
of
had
the
Money
final.
Mark. Don't forget about Money Mark. He was also good. You got video?
I got a
You wanna
video of the
share it?
final. I'll send it to you. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me
Okay.
get it here. Let's see. So this one? No, it's this one.
We did have a new episode tonight of Under the Bus. If you're looking for something
Was very
fun.
good.
Yeah, it was solid. The boys were,
Live show.
live show tonight. We'll be live also for the next one, Tuesday morning at 10. We'll be live on the remote broadcasts. So we got this week it didn't work out. I'm heading out of town tomorrow, and then Coach B goes out of town Wednesday for a couple of weeks. These men travel a lot, and Curry's got to get his beach time in every day. So
of course,
it's a lot to schedule the show around their schedule. But no, they they poked a little fun at the Olympic basketball teams. The men for nearly losing to South Sudan, the women for losing to the WNBA All-Stars, and then
the men's team has had some moments so far in their lead up to the Olympics where it's kind of scared you, like they're down and obviously
kind of going through the motions.
Yeah,
but I'm not
they'll
worried
turn it
about
up when they get to Paris. I'm not.
Well, I mean,
I'm not worried about.
I mean, Steph said after the game, Steph Curry said that they haven't even played their best game yet.
Well,
like you said, they're not even close to playing their best game. So I was just like, I'm not worried. I don't
think they're really trying yet. I don't think they even started trying until they got down 16.
Yeah,
but really trying. But
hey, it's always good.
I also think they're kind of old. A lot of the team's pretty old, and
I mean, Steph's
pretty worn down.
Steph's in his mid, almost late 30s.
LeBron is pushing 40.
Anthony Davis is in his 30s. I mean, they're not a young. It's not a younger team this year.
Yeah, they're coming off.
Apart from Anthony Edwards,
right? It's hard, especially like a guy like Jason Tatum coming off an NBA championship where he's in the play until.
Yeah, they've been grinding, man.
It's a lot of these guys, especially have played deep in the playoffs. Some of them have, some of them haven't, but it takes a toll on you having to take out part of what's normally your off season and compete for an Olympic gold medal. It's a big sacrifice. Yeah, but it's worth it. There's something to be said about winning gold for your country.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the U.S. Women's soccer team does after a big disappointment at the World Cup last year, and we'll see how they perform.
I think they'll show up. I think they'll show up. They always do. It's just whether or not they play their best game, because at this point in terms of women's soccer, all these countries are getting. I mean, these countries outside the United States are getting better and better, and it kind of shows with the United States because they kind of struggled a little bit in the World Cup against some teams you just maybe didn't expect to be as good as they were, and kind of caught the United States by surprise. So I think at this stage, I think they're going into the Olympics thinking, yeah, we got to be more prepared this time around for the Olympics, and bring home a gold. I think that's the main thing for them.
After going out very early, especially in a tournament where you have been over its history the dominant team. Or at least you've had multiple World Cup championships over these last few decades, and to go out the way they did, it's just not going to sit right with anybody on that team. But you're looking for the leaders to show up, like some of those forwards and midfielders, like a Rose Lavelle or Lindsay Horan, or a nice up and coming player like Trinity Rodman. And so you have some dynamic players on that roster. You have a great goalkeeper in Alyssa Nair, who is sensational.
Yeah.
So now can you get the most of those veterans who have had tournament experience before, and see how those younger up and comers, fit into the rest of that lineup. So I'm excited to see how they do, especially.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing is, speaking of up and comers, I'm intrigued to see how the men's U23, I think it is, soccer team does in the
Right.
tournament as well. I kind of want to see how they fare because that's the future of the United States men's soccer. That is the future right there, and possibly some of those players may eventually be playing for us when the 2026 World Cup
Right.
comes
That's
around.
free practice.
So and so I'm intrigued to watch them play as well. I'm excited for the Olympics. I always love watching the Olympics. It's always fun. There's a lot to pay attention to, especially the kind of the rivalry between Australia and the United States when it comes to the swim competitions. So I'm excited to see that rivalry from the last Olympic continue into this one, and it's going to be fun. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm just sad there's no curling. It's summer games.
Also, I did send you
I would.
Yeah.
If you had to pick between one, definitely I'd pick the winter games.
Yeah.
Just a lot more exciting. I mean, the summer games are great, but the thing about winter Olympics is a lot of sports they're not given the spotlight. I guess the summer games,
just the wackiest stuff.
Yeah,
just the wackiest stuff.
Yeah.
Skeleton's amazing. Yeah. I love skeleton.
Fun. Curling, as you said, is a
curling's amazing.
Strategic game. Hopefully they'll get I think next year they'll get the NHL players back at the hockey tournament, which they haven't had in a long time.
Yeah, I enjoy I used to really love Olympic hockey when we had the best players involved. So that'll be fun for sure. I owe sponsor reads. Varsity sponsors of LowcoSports. We got DDS Web Design, building, hosting, maintaining websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. So if you need to get found online, so you can do more and think bigger, go to ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties, and they jumped on board to help us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Loco. Dr. Ambrose Cole is the official chiropractor of LowcoSports, and you can find him at Root of Living Wellness in Bluffton. He will get you feeling better, mind, body, and spirit. And if you have sports injuries, Dr. Ambrose, very good at diagnosing and helping you come up with a plan to rehab and prevent those injuries in the future. So go check him out. And Reverence Wrestling Club, official wrestling sponsor of LowcoSports and presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. You can take your skills on the mat to the next level at Reverence Wrestling Club. Mentioned Zeo Estrada earlier. She was going to try to join us tonight. She was zonked out after a long trip back from Fargo. So she's going to try to get with us next Monday, is the plan. Cool. That's when we'll try to talk to her.
I did send you a video of that final out if you want to show it.
Indeed. And Wes got gremlins. I think his
yeah. He's all of a sudden his screen went black and I was like, oh, okay. But
gremlins.
I had never been to the Ace Basin Sports Complex, so that was my first time being at that complex, and I'm really impressed with how that whole area is laid out. It's a very fantastic venue, and it's a great venue for the World Series. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, it was awesome, and they're eager to host more events, more state tournaments, more World Series.
I mean, they hosted the 8U state tournament earlier in the year.
They like the younger ones, especially. They said they prefer that. Here we go, the celebration from the Tennessee boys. Oh, look at Coach, dropped to his knees crying. Oh,
it's a cool journey. It's not just a cool journey for these kids. It's a really cool journey for these coaches to coach.
Amazing!
These kids
it's an amazing journey.
It's a great experience. It's a fantastic experience.
Well, and those guys, I really enjoyed those guys. They were
they were really fun to watch. The coaches were fantastic from both Greg Park and Pleasant View. If you noticed on that video, the guy for Greg Park, the coach for Greg Park, his pitching style, we both have been talking about the whole weekend up to today about how consistent it is and how he
had his own unique style, and he was very deliberate about it, very serious about trying to be consistent with it, and took it extremely seriously. He got very upset with himself when he missed his spot.
Yeah,
he was into it, and that is half the battle, man. Like the coach being able to put it somewhere where they're confident swinging at it is a big part of it. He took it very seriously. I mean, hats off to all these coaches. I've been there. We talked to the Greg Park coach today about the sacrifices that he personally has made to go on this journey. He and his older son had a trip planned where they were going to go to like 4 different Major League Baseball parks and see games, this whole big road trip, and that got scrapped. And then he was supposed to be on a plane this morning to Sandals Resort in the Bahamas or Jamaica, one or the other. And that got scrapped, got rescheduled at a cost. So, for a volunteer coaching gig for 6U baseball. I mean, I've lived it myself, but there's certainly thousands and thousands of moms and dads. There were moms out there coaching. Tennessee, Chester County, Tennessee had a mom coaching first base, and she knew what she was talking about. I wanted to talk to her and see where she played ball, because I would bet she played a high level of college softball, because she knew the game, and she really knew how to.
She was really going at it. It was really cool to see her go.
She let them know what they needed to know. Now she was not shy about it.
I mean, all these coaching staffs, from what I saw, have been absolutely fantastic this weekend. A couple scuffles here and there with rules within the tournament and stuff like that. But other than that, it's been really fun to watch these coaches, hype these kids up, coach these kids as the game continues on, and giving them every opportunity to be the best kind of player that they can be. And it was really fun, really, really fun. And I'm glad I joined you for the weekend over at Ace Basin Sports Complex, because it brings back a lot of memories for me in my playing days when I was that age. So I was really happy to go and watch some of these kids play, and it was really cool to see how good some of these young kids are for their age. And it was really fun and exciting. And it gives us a showing of what the possibility of the future of baseball looks like, out of some of these kids. And it's really, really cool to watch.
Well, I'll tell you this, anybody who tells you baseball's dying, no, it's definitely not.
Never. It will never die.
This idea that kids aren't into baseball, that's just silly. I mean, it's just silly. There are so many more things now to compete for your attention. So there may not be as high of a percentage of kids who are interested in baseball now as there were, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, or whatever. But I guarantee you there are plenty of kids who eat, sleep, and breathe baseball, and it is all they want to do or think about or talk about.
It showed in this tournament. Oh, is he back?
He's back.
Come on, Wes.
Perhaps.
Come on.
Yeah. He's sort of back. You got gremlins.
Are playing. Dude, the gremlins are playing with you today. Good Lord. I feel bad for you, man. Dude, the gremlins.
They're hopping all over the place.
Messing with you today.
You over here. There we go.
Yeah,
you got gremlins.
Like I was saying, what a cool venue to host that World Series. And I can't wait to see them host a few more state tournaments of World Series, because I think that's one of the best. I think that's one of the best venues, in my opinion, in this area of the Low Country.
Yeah, best chicken tendies. They got the best concession stand by far of any rec field. I mean, they got legit wings in there. They got chicken tendies.
In terms of because I've been to Burton Wells in Beaufort. I've been to Oscar Fraser in Bluffton. I've played most of my years at HHB on Hilton Head. I've seen quite a few fields in terms of me playing regional tournaments and stuff like that. That Walterboro complex in Ace Basin is one of the best I've ever seen in terms of around here in the Low Country, and it was really cool. And I would really enjoy to go back there for another tournament, hopefully next summer.
Yeah, it's a gem. I always enjoy going there.
I'm excited for this weekend. Was going over there to Beaufort, and that's a nice facility as well. Yeah,
it is. I just wish it had more than 3 fields.
Yeah. That would be.
There was a period in this county where we thought that 3 fields was the most you could put in a baseball complex for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Hilton Head's trying to add more fields on to the 3 that they have right now, and I think that's the smart move.
Because
It's a
3
very
is
smart move for them.
is just a weird number. Like 3 is just an odd number, and we have 3 of them in
4
this
makes
county
sense
with
because
3.
you have like a square.
4 makes a lot more sense.
But that's what
3
we
doesn't
see in
make a ton of
Crossings
sense.
as well. Crossings only has 3.
I know that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Bluffton, Beaufort, and Crossings all have 3.
I can't remember who I was talking with the other day, but he's currently coaching, kids at HHBA at the Crossings. And last I heard, they're talking about adding on at least 1 to 2 more fields. And
Yes,
I think
they are, including a larger field that would be like, full size field.
Yeah, which I think is very smart. It's going to be fantastic, and they already have really nice fields over there.
They do.
So
they're great.
To add 2 more, including a full size field, I think that's a really great move by them.
They have a really good situation over there. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's very nice,
and they do a good job of taking care of it. One other thing I did want to mention, Erskine has been on the recruiting trail, getting after some Lowco guys. They offered from Whale Branch, Zaire Polite. They offered Jaden Jeffries from Bluffton, and they offered Alonzo Allen from Whale Branch. First offer, I think, for all 3 of those guys. But
Erskine,
I'll be shocked if it's the last one for Alonzo.
I'm surprised. Alonzo Allen, he is a hidden gem over here. I would think he would be getting a little more attention.
I mean, I feel like Erskine really likes the Low Country area because I can't tell you how many kids I know that have ended up going to play sports at Erskine.
Yeah.
Well, and they went and plucked when they were first starting their program. They went and got a couple of guys from Whale Branch, including Darius Hazel, and then he just graduated and is a graduate transfer as their all-time leading rusher. So you're dang right, they're going to take another look at some guys from Whale Branch.
It's not just football either. It's baseball too, because I know a couple kids that ended up going to play baseball at
Richardson
Erskine.
went up there.
Cooper Coonage, I believe, went over there as well.
Speaking of Erskine, that is, I believe that's where a couple of other, not just football, but baseball and other sports. We have seen a lot of guys formerly play
I think Jake Richardson went there, but I don't know if he's still there. Didn't Max go there? Either. Max Wano and Stratton?
I don't remember.
Quarterback from Bluffton?
I think I'm trying to remember. I think at one point Cooper Coonage from Hilton Head High School was over there too.
And another guy. I was blanking on Jacob Coltrane, former basketball player. But he's still
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, they like recruiting here in the Low Country.
Yep. He's still at UVU.
Where's Coltrane at now?
He was at,
I don't know.
I think he's still at University of Virginia unless no, he's at Houston now.
I thought he was at Houston. Yeah.
Yes, he's at Houston now. Yeah. Although he was just in the news recently. He is now an assistant coach with the Houston Cougars women's basketball squad. So
nice.
We're moving up the ranks. I remember a couple years ago we were interviewing him, and he was a high school coach. Now he's serving as assistant
coach. He's a climber.
Division One high.
He's a go-getter, man. Dude, he's never met a challenge he didn't like.
Speaking of which, I had his parting thought, and I had to leave for a second. But my parting thought that I was going to give is that. Funny, I mentioned Jacob Coltrane because the parting thought I had was another sensation at Hilton High when I was there, who has also she's been started here, went to Alabama, went to Hawaii, went all over the place, and now she is with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's Sabrina Ryer, former football kicker under BJ Payne. She is the manager of player and personnel relations for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So all right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. A couple other Lowco guys at Erskine that I came across as I scrolled through their website. They've got a few guys. Kylan, or at least last year they did. Kylan Simmons from Bluffton, Walker Nettles from Colleton Prep, Hart Cushman from Beaufort, center of that great team, as well as blast from the past, Jarius Gordon from Thomas Hayward.
Oh yeah.
Quite a few Lowco guys on the roster there last year. Of course, the portal may have claimed some of them. They might be somewhere else when their new roster comes out, but that's what we're hanging with. Max, you got anything else to add for us? We good?
No, I mean I'm really excited for, it was really great spending time with you, and just getting to watch
hanging out, watching ball. It was fun.
Getting to watch the next generation of great baseball players play this tournament, and now I'm excited to see the upcoming generation of baseball at Burton Wells this coming week and weekend. With Wes as well. It's going to be really fun. We know at the Diamond Boys level, usually most of these teams that are coming into this tournament are usually very evenly matched. So I'm excited to see quite a few Donnybrooks, hopefully. It's going to be a really fun tournament, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, should see some good ball players. I would, truly like, if there's somebody who stands out above the rest, remember the name.
Oh yeah,
because this is kind of the level where you see it.
If you're finding a year and against elite competition, you're going to get noticed. I mean, just on the track record, when you're at 14 level, it kind of tracks as you're going to be one of the better high school players moving forward.
I just always think back to that first junior boys tournament World Series that we had in Bluffton, and Anthony Alford playing shortstop for Petal, Mississippi, and we were just like, "That's a pro athlete."
Yep.
And
you can tell.
Was. Yeah, sometimes you see it and you just go, "Whoa, okay, that looks different." And this is the age where that starts to kind of show itself. So,
yeah, it does.
So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to track them as they go on from here. But the Lowco Booster Club supports us, so please support them. We got the Court Lifestyle Pros. Daniel and Debbie Court are with Charter One Realty. They're Lowco natives, and they want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel, custom gift baskets, all kinds of cool stuff. And they're hosting our Lowco swag shop. We dropped the link in the comments earlier, so go get your Lowco swag and go over to Eagle Creations and see what they can do for you. Jay's Barbershop is the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. They'll get you looking stylish and fill your ears with great conversation at Jay's Barbershop, downtown Ridgeland. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country, get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. Chris Odom and the team doing the job over there. And Hudson Seafood House on the docks. Got to go over there for the great seafood, great views, great sunsets, great cocktails, and they're the official sponsors of Under the Bus. Go check out a new episode of the Under the Bus, streaming on demand right now on the Lowco Media Network. And this one will be on demand very soon because we're going to call it or going to wrap it up. But we'll be back. So I'm going on vacation, but I'm thinking Thursday night we do a show. And preview the tournaments, and we'll see if we can get some guests on here to help us do that.
One more parting thought before we go.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with the baseball field. It's not the story you would think it would be, but a bunch of people, I'm sure that you may know, went there. But my sister did. Went to Fenway Park, below Fenway Park, which I've been a few times, but it wasn't to see a baseball game. It was to see Noah Khan, one of the incoming musicians of this era.
Love Vermont, but it's the season of the sticks now. Yeah.
The cool thing about that particular show was that, he is such a humble, generous guy. I mean, down to earth kind of celebrity. Everybody loves him. And guys,
especially the teen girls, and the college girls, they love him.
They definitely do, but there's a wide range of fans for that particular.
Oh yeah.
And I think the coolest thing is the last number, which was Dixie's, what you're seeing. He brought his entire family on stage, and he brought the openers on as well, which I think is really cool. That's awesome. He's just a great guy.
I bet there were a lot of people screaming when he said, "I'll drink alcohol till my friends come home for Christmas. Yeah, it's a great song. I mean,
Yeah.
I dig it. It's a great song. It's really good. Teen Angst song. Our Teen Angst songs had a little more edge to them than their Teen Angst songs do now, but it's still a good Teen Angst song. I like it. All right, boys. Great show tonight. We'll plan to be back on Thursday night, but keep an eye on the feeds in case anything changes, depending on my situation with the Wi-Fi. You never know how the Wi-Fi will be out on the road, but we'll hope for the best, and we'll plan to have a show Thursday night previewing the big baseball tournaments this weekend in Beaufort, and then we'll get back with you. We're planning on Zayo next Monday. She needs a little R&R. She had a tough weight cut, a tough tournament, and a long trip, but once she gets back on her feet, we're going to get her on here as promised. But talk to the national champ, Zayo Estrada. All right, boys, that'll do it for tonight. Thanks so much to everybody who showed up to listen or watch, as well as all of our sponsors. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Until then, for Max Arraj and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Go Loco.
The Lowco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Lowco.